Sorry again for the darkness. I have a question here. One was a statement from Nicholas Fletcher, which was 11 months ago, saying no point in addressing that now, I guess. One was a week ago by Ian Buckmaster, who writes, and this is public, and Ian, let me just tell you, if you send me something in a PM, I'm never going to reveal your name, and I'll answer the question, or I might even read the question, but nothing relating to who you are, your name. I'll probably obscure the gender as well, just to keep things private. That's just my rule. If you give me permission, then I'll say your name, give you credit, everything, but just a personal rule of mine. My parish is Western Rite, and we have an icon of Blessed Augustine of Hippo on our rood screen. I'm only a catechumen now, but I thought Augustine was considered a saint by the Church. I believe Blessed Augustine and a few of our other icons on the rood screen are from andrewspress.com. I'll have to check that out, and I guess I'll make a part 2 to this, or a follow-up video to this. I personally love the Western Rite, and I can get that non-Western Rite Orthodox are shaky about it. But my own priest is a former Anglican bishop. Doesn't he technically have a Western Rite tradition passed down to him, but be able to sanctify the Anglican Rite? I really appreciate your opinion and your videos. Well, thank you very much. That makes it worthwhile. And please keep up the great work. Your videos really helped me come to a greater understanding of Orthodoxy, or the Orthodox faith, a few months ago when I was deciding to become Orthodox. Well, thank you very much. Actually, that makes that justifies my entire channel. I used to get very angry when people came to Orthodoxy, because there was an 8-month period where I had 18 people, from being angry atheists who would be yelling at me to then becoming at least catechumens, if not full Orthodox. But that might have sounded like brag, but it's not. I actually was very upset about that, because I don't believe, we don't believe in proselytizing, and I didn't want to twist anybody's arm. And my greatest fear was they might become Orthodox and then they might leave. And there's something about this in the New Testament, like I think cross land and sea to make one convert, and then he lapses, and it's worse than if he had not become a convert at all. That could be in the Quran, though. I mix things up. So I was very fearful and apprehensive of that. Now I take it as a compliment, and I'm not angry or anything like that. You might see some of my videos in the past where I was like, 3 people came to Orthodoxy because of me, and it's a strange feeling. Anyways, so I want you to know that you're actually making me happy with this. You're not upsetting me, because you'll see videos from like a year ago where I'm like, I'm like, 4 more people became Orthodox, and they blamed me for it. But that's gone, and I thank you very much, and I'm very grateful that and very honored, humbled that some of my videos helped you on your path to the Orthodox Church. Now, to address the questions you brought up, the straw that broke the camel's back, well, it was 2. It was Petrine primacy, and it was the filioque. But that wasn't even the straw that broke the camel's back. Those were just kind of the 2 things that were there, that because Photius was bitching about. Photius saw the filioque in 900, and it wasn't until 1054. And in Ireland and England, the papal bishops weren't installed until 1066, so Orthodoxy actually lasted longer in Ireland and England than it did in places like France or Spain or Italy or Libya. Oh, no, Libya was, yeah, Libya. But, so it was by the 5th century most of the people in the East could not speak Latin, and most of the people in the West could not speak Greek or Syro-Aramaic. And there was a breakdown. There was even a breakdown of the way the world was viewed. And then you had the rise of scholasticism in the 11th and 12th centuries, the 1000s and the 1100s, which did a lot of damage. You had Anselm, right? And then you had Aquinas. But before that, you have the seed sown in Augustine. Remember, Augustine reaches the filioque, but then steps back. If you read Augustine, when I don't know if it's in City of God or Confessions, I forget which one, and then there's always the miscellaneous writings, but his view of original sin, and he told people not to read the Latin Bible, not to read the Greek text, to read the Latin Vulgate that Jerome translated, but he brought original sin in through a mistranslation, and he technically didn't believe in the original sin that the ancient medieval Catholic Church used to teach. He taught something very close to total depravity. I mean, everybody's damned. All children have the desire to steal fruit. That's why children are wicked and need to be beat. I'm almost editorializing on that, but it's pretty much what he said. Not editorializing. What am I saying? That's not a direct quote from him. Let me say that. But he said something along that line. But when you get into what he talked about original sin being, it was total depravity, and he is the font of all heresies. That's why, and I like that you refer to him as blessed. That is the highest title he will ever gain. Whether somebody's a saint or not is not. Many people are probably saints that we don't know of. It's that, look at Origen. By the end of his life, he was fully Orthodox. But what did he do? He emasculated himself. And he spread teachings that he would later recant that infected different parts of Christendom. So not allowed. There were other people who, in their younger passionate days, did emasculate themselves. And they were forever banned from being a saint, just so nobody would follow their image. Now, a saint publicly declared by the church. They may fully well be the closest to Christ in the kingdom, right? But not someone you want to emulate. Augustine pulled back from all the things that would make him totally heretical before he died. He had retractions, but that's not how the Western Church used it. The Tridentine Mass is actually a cut-up, screwed around with version of the actual Latin liturgy. So the Tridentine Mass isn't even ancient. It's tridentine. But it actually was established in its form, I should say its final form, at Trent, at the Council of Trent. Anglican Christianity is not indigenous. The true Orthodox cultural Christianity was St. Patrick, St. Columbo, St. Bridget of Gaelic Christianity in their own tongue. The Latins, under the Anglo-Saxons, after the Anglo-Saxons invaded, strong-armed and forced in a form of papal-dominated Christianity, which was still 100% Orthodox, even though they tried to erase the Gaelic Christianity that was there. And even to them, when 1054 came around, they said, "Screw you," to the Pope. They said, "You've broken from us." Patrick, Columbo, St. Bridget all argued that all bishops are equal. So did Cyprian and Tertullian. So these are not actually uncorrupted traditions. This is why. I would love to see the ancient Gaelic liturgy. I'm half Irish Catholic. I'm also Syrian and Colombian and Argentinian, sorry. But it's gone. We don't have a living tradition. We can't just reassemble it from the past. This is what Jehovah's Witnesses try to do. This is what the Restorationists try to do. This is what every quote-unquote Bible-based church tries to do. Well, let's get back to what the original church was like. Instead of having the living tradition through people who, from the laying out of hands, have come directly from the apostles and the martyrs and have been taught the living tradition, the Western Rite isn't a living tradition. That being said, you being a catechumen, are underneath the wings of the church. You can come to an Antiochian Orthodox church. You can go to a Greek Orthodox church. You can go to an OCA church. You can go to a Russian church. You can go to a Serbian church. That's fine. But the Latin Rite, I think it was done by Metropolitan Philip and pushed by not Bishop Atun, but the now defunct Bishop Mark, and people like Peter Gilquist and Father Patrick Reardon, who both of those last two men I actually got in screaming matches, yelling matches, fingers in faces type of thing with. I think it was pushed by them too soon, and that it's very unorthodox and it's very Protestant, and it tries to make it's kind of the homemade corduroy pants hippie with his hippie wife that have, cloth diapers that are like, hey, yeah, we stayed at Frederica Matthews Green, like those type of Orthodox, the ones that are too cool for regular Christianity type of thing, and that's one thing I fear about it. Not to mention, if you read the Seventh Ecumenical Council, the restrictions that are actually on icons, it's very there's the temptation of some violation there, or the idea of some violation there, and there's reasons why we don't adjust or change anything is because we don't know what to adjust or change. We don't know what was added 1,700 years ago, what tiny thing was added 1,700 years ago, or 1,000 years ago, what little tidbit was, or what is from the Apostle James that he did that we think isn't really worth much. And to change that is to lose something so valuable, and that is what they did with the Latin Rite. They stripped down, or they rearranged a form of the Gaelic Mass, which was stripped down into the English, the British Mass, which was stripped down into the Latin Mass, which was recongealed under the Tridentine, which was then screwed around with the lot. So I don't believe they're getting back to anything original. That being said, if you feel home in your church, the Holy Spirit is there, the Eucharist is valid, the baptism is valid. Stay there. Listen to your parish priest and your church father. You will be in my prayers, and please pray for me. Anytime you want to talk, we can talk. I'll even give you my phone number. Never hesitate to contact me. Peace to you. And I'll make another video about Augustine. It's just a personal rule of mine. My parish is Western Rite, and we have an icon of Blessed Augustine of Hippo on our rood screen. I'm only a catechumen now, but I thought I'll answer the question, or I might even read the question, but nothing relating to who you are, your name. I'll probably obscure the gender as well, just to keep things private. That's just my rule. If you give me permission, then I'll say your name, give you credit, everything. But I thought Augustine was considered a saint by the Church. I believe Blessed Augustine and a few of our other icons on the rood screen are from Andrew's. Sorry again for the darkness. I have a question here. One was a statement from Nicholas Fletcher, which was 11 months ago, saying no point in addressing that now, I guess. One was a week ago by Ian Buckmaster, who writes, and this is public, and Ian, let me just tell you, if you send me something in a PM, I'm never going to reveal your name, and